Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene set in this of the Dark Crusade, Season 2. It is another evening within the curfew-struck city of Odessa. Within Riverside, festivities are taking place among the local Canaanites. A Sedite of some renown has been hosting an event in a bid to become the keeper of Elysium. One of the few contestants outside, of course, the one Toreador Giles, who hosted his own events about a month or two ago. And it was a rather dividing affair. Some people very much enjoyed the show put on, others very much did not, it appears. The fighting pit appears to have been an issue of some contention amongst some of the more conscientious Canaanites of the city. A divide that Margot falls quite clearly on one side of. She has made her way back to her haven within, actually outside, outside the city. A small estate. And she has been within her home for about half an hour. And within the cellar lies imprisoned, locked away, a young Priscilla. The new paramour of Margot, but one who appears to have been struck with a strange bout of madness that almost, a few weeks ago, claimed her life. And that is where we set this scene, within Margot's haven.
Yeah, Margot's probably relaxed after going to the event. She didn't so much enjoy as she hoped. Well, she didn't think she'd enjoy it. She just showed up to make a appearance as Primogen of her clan, but it's not the sort of event she doesn't like. She doesn't even like the host. I would say she doesn't trust him as far as throw him, but with Potence, she can probably throw him a lot further than she can trust him. So, yeah, she's been relaxing. Probably talked to Priscilla a little bit, although made sure she was safe through the door. And yeah, she's relaxing right now, trying to unwind after a strange event.
Okay. You're relaxing. You've probably gotten changed into something a bit more comfortable, something you can probably move around in, considering the nature of women's clothing during much of the medieval era for formal affairs is not particularly flexible. After you've done so, and after you've kind of sat down in your chair, just relaxing in perhaps your study or private room, catching yourself something to eat. You one of your servants approaches you.
She'll
My
smile.
lady, there is a stranger at the door.
What do they want?
They came to wish to speak to you personally, my lady. It appears they were guided here by Mr. Saladrin.
She'll sigh. Of course. Let them in, and she'll say, "Let them come to. I guide them to the lounge."
Of course, my lady. And they will shimmy on off.
And, actually, she'll say, and ask them what they want to see, what they want to talk to me about.
Of course, my lady. My apologies. And yeah. You hear the door open on the far end of your mansion. And you then hear it close. Are you just kind of waiting for your servant to get back to you, or are you
Yeah.
going to head into the new lounge? Okay. Your servant gets back to you with significant speed and says, "They are here, my lady, if I may. They are here to, under their own words, discuss with you a matter relevant to the organization you run here. They would not state which organization."
She'll smile. She'll nod. Sorry. Thank you. They are waiting in the lounge room.
Yes, he is a rather old gentleman, uh, but he appears to be a man of some standing. I can only imagine he has traveled some distance.
She'll nod.
He appears to be in somewhat refined traveling gear.
Very well. And she'll nod and go to the room. She'll thank the servant.
"'Tis my pleasure, my lady." He will shimmy off somewhere, get back to his actual duties, as he's been distracted from them by a rude surprise. And yes, as you enter the main lounge, there is simply a gentleman waiting, um, just simply looking around. He has his hands behind his back. He looks rather he's stood up fairly straight. He's kind of just perusing the lounge casually.
She doesn't have her armor, but she probably has a sword. Like she normally has her sword for just in case she needs to defend herself.
Hmm. Before you see a man um, with grey swept back hair, with some a well refined sideburns, if I do say so myself. As the servant said, he is dressed as formally as a traveling man can be, but he's clearly been on the move. There are still some fine granules of dust on his clothing from his journeys throughout the region and the city. Um, at his left side, or left side of his waist, there is a saber, a fairly thin cutting blade. And he is dressed rather practically. He appears to be in his mid 50s. but he looks quite fit for a man of what would have been his mortal age.
Okay. Does he have protection on, like any sort of armor?
You can't tell. He might have a chain vest underneath his clothing. He might be armored. Like he might have clothing over his he might have clothing over his armor. It would probably be fairly light or thin armor if that were the case, as his
Okay.
movement doesn't seem to be particularly impeded, and in addition, if he were to be wearing armor that was of any real
Wait.
density
Yeah.
or weight, it would noticeably show from under his clothing, or just be impossible to wear
Okay.
clothing over it, to be
So yeah,
honest.
she'll walk in and bow, keeping an eye on the man. Good evening, sir. As I am sure you already know, I am Margot de Cornier, Primogen of Clan Torador in Edessa. You wish to see me?
Ah, bonsoir, my Primogen. My apologies for visiting unannounced. I am Regis Haku of Clan Toreador.
Well,
Elder
I
of the
welcome.
clan.
Oh, sorry. Go.
I hail from the courts of love.
And she'll smile. Well, I welcome you to Edessa as Primogen of your clan.
I am most gracious. Apologies for the butchered French accent. I can't do French accents. I'm just bad at them. But I can try. I would have met with you at that makeshift Elysium, but it appears you had already left. I do not blame you. It was quite the barbaric display.
She'll nod. Indeed, I
And
showed up.
Hmm.
It's not the sort of event I enjoy being at.
And the most unfit setting for creatures of our caliber, no?
And she'll nod.
A
Indeed.
brothel and a fighting pit. Most unrefined.
And she'll nod. Indeed. You wish to speak to me?
Yes, it is a matter of some importance to the to the clan.
Speak your mind.
Would you mind if we discuss this in perhaps a more enclosed setting? I fear I may have already said too much in a city. Sorry, in a mansion that is bristling with a flash of life, shall we say?
We are alone in this room. The servants aren't peeping on us.
No. Very well then. I have come here looking for one of our clanmates. A Canaanite Toreador known as Priscilla Duca. I take it that you are quite intimately acquainted with the lady.
Indeed. What is your business with Priscilla, if I might ask?
I have come here on behalf of Hasaya to request her return to the Coats of Love. She is needed there.
She'll nod. She is currently busy, but I will let her know. She'll come back as soon as possible.
I think he's going to roll perception empathy on that.
Do you want me to roll too, by the way?
You should definitely roll for that, yeah. Because obviously she's not in the most talkative state right now.
Yeah. So manipulation, subterfuge.
Manipulation, subterfuge, yes.
And I'll use their willpower. Oh wait, no, I can't. My phone. I have to use it on my phone. Come on, phone.
He only gets 2 successes, so as long as you get 2 successes, he should be fine.
Okay, I think I will. I'll and because I mean I'm using a willpower and I have 9 dice, so Discord. Okay. Sure. Oh yeah. Oh yes. She gets all the successes.
Yeah,
Look at
you
that.
put on a very straight face. In fact, you don't even really put on any face. You just kind of continue as you are. It's very fluid. It's, your mood, your expression doesn't change in any way whatsoever. You just,
Yeah, that's 8 successes
continue
altogether.
on with the same elegance that you always had before. It's, it's no difference. There's nothing to give you away. Also, you can roll. You can. Do you have Tori? You do have Toreador Law. You can roll Toreador Law on this guy. He'll be difficulty 7 if you want to learn about him. He's only a minor
Intelligence,
player.
Toreador Law.
Yep. If you rolled Canot Law, it'd be difficulty 9 because he's really not that relevant in the grand scheme of things. But he does have some age on him. But yeah, Toreador Law diff 7.
Okay.
Because he is a minor power player within the clan.
10. No shit.
You haven't heard of this guy before. He's something of an enigma to you. He's probably not that relevant if you haven't heard of him.
What did he say his name was?
Regis Harcourt. I'll just put that in the chat for you.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Of course. Would there, however, be any way for me to contact her immediately? It is quite urgent, I'm afraid.
I'm afraid not, but trust that I will let her know as soon as possible.
Would it be possible for me to, of course not by yourself, I would not dare ask, but would it be possible for me to have a location, a haven perhaps, so I could speak with her? I do apologize for the intrusiveness, but it is a matter of great import to her sire, of which I am quite indebted. And I do not wish to break my bond, of course. My word is my oath.
You can know where her. I can tell you where her haven is, and she'll say you where her haven is, knowing real well that she's not there. Shh.
Ah. I thank you very much. I appreciate your great graciousness in hosting me on this evening. I know I have not turned up in my best form, and being quite uninvited at that.
Yes, please. Next time you come, please make sure that you ask first, or that you're welcome. Sorry, that your visit is announced beforehand.
I shall make sure to notify all relevant parties of my presence. I'd hoped to encounter some at the event, but it appears neither the seneschal or the prince was present.
Sorry about that. I sure think the prince was there before when she was there, wasn't there?
No, seneschal and the prince did not show up to that event.
Oh, okay, I thought the prince had. I know the senator had it because. Yes, I'm afraid it's an event that was to neither of their liking.
I am ashamed to say I'm quite familiar with satellite affairs. We have a few within the courts of love. Not many, but enough to be a nuisance. I have seen some of their acts. They are quite deplorable.
Do Setites always act the way they did at Soladrin's event?
Oh no, they are usually quite subtle. This one was quite brazen.
And she'll, smile. Well, no, not exactly smile, more of she grimace.
Of course, all of them are
Yes.
tempters, but not all of them present themselves in such a way, and those that do know how to go about it with a degree of grace. This one is far more, quite brazen, aggressive.
Yes, Soladrin is all of those things.
Were I have not such shall we say, knightly standing, I would have been half tempted to thrust my sword into his chest and force him into torpor right there.
Unfortunately, we can't do that. We can't do that and make enemies of all of the clan. Soladrin is someone that I prefer to keep my distances of, but I will not let him cloud the judgment of the rest of his clan.
With respect, I must disagree. With respect, I must disagree. The moment one lets the guard down around a Setite, they bare their fangs and bite, like a cobra. Hence their I can see why they are so familiar with reptilian creatures.
And she'll smile. A rose has thorns. The snakes might bite, but they'll be bitten back.
Oh, that is quite accurate. I would consider myself one of those thorns, if I may be honest with you.
Is that so?
Yeah, yes, you could say I'm a guardian of the arts and its patrons, rather than one of those artists myself. Alas.
I see. Is it like super rude how old one is in vampire, like, etiquette?
Pardon?
Is it how is it rude to ask how old one is? Like if one is an elder or something?
Um, it depends. You might be someone of your standing. He hasn't stated it. Oftentimes it's you just ask if they haven't already stated it, but sometimes depending on the person, particularly more prominent Canaanites, it can be considered a bit rude in the sense that in
Like
the sense that you don't know me. Come
yeah,
on.
like bitch, you haven't heard of me?
Yeah, like honestly, I'd expect you to know better. Um, it's not a huge faux pas, although depending on the person and the setting, it can be. This is a fairly private affair, so even if it is a faux pas, at least won't be witnessed.
Okay. May I ask you how long you have walked the nights, Regis? Sir Regis Harcourt.
Oh, I have been around for a couple of centuries, give or take a few years. You begin to lose count after the second.
Mm, sure, nod. I am still to reach the second. I will take your word for it. After all, it is always good for one to hear the word, to listen to the words of those who have more experience.
I would not dare lie to my Primogen. That would be most foolish, if I may be so bold to say.
I shall nod. Thank you for your visit, Regis. With that, uh I see. How late is it?
Middle of the night.
Oh,
It's
meal.
probably just gone midnight, gone 1 a.m.
Okay. And well, it's just here to say thank you for your visit, Regis. Is this all you wished to blah, blah, blah. I know how to English. Is this all you wished to discuss?
It is all I would request for the moment. I shall not take up any more of your time this evening. I should also let you know I shall not be in the domain very long. Very much regret to say, although I would like to indulge in this domain and assist you in the Toreador's courtly affairs. Unfortunately, my duties lie in the great domains of France,
Of course, I understand.
and unfortunately, so does the young Priscilla.
I will make sure she knows if you do not receive her at her haven.
Well, I am certain you shall make sure of it, and you have my sincere gratitude
Thank
for
you.
your assistance towards such a rude old man.
Hmm. Please, your visit was good, but beyond that, I do not find you rude at all.
Do you want to roll in session empathy?
Okay. Just a sec. Betty. No shit.
Right. Yeah. He seems completely upfront of you, to be honest. The way he's been acting this night, it kind of seems that He's probably acting as a messenger for some other more elder Canite. You know that being a couple centuries old is sort of the bridge between Ancilla and elderhood. So Regis would be considered either a very old Ancilla or a very young elder by the standards of Canine society. Kind of depends on where you go. He's in that kind of grey area. Once you pass your 250th year, more or less everybody will call you an elder.
Okay.
So he's fairly close to becoming an elder, if not already there. Yeah, he seems to be obviously he seems to be fairly upfront, like more or less seems to be like acting as someone's retainer to retrieve Priscilla for her duties back in France.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he seems completely genuine in his words to you. That much is also fairly obvious. Like he shows you the utmost respect as a Primogen of his clan within the area. He even his body language is very genial, very polite, very non-aggressive. Not necessarily submissive, but non-aggressive. At all times, you can see both his hands are some distance away from his blade. He could not quick draw them on you.
Okay. So with that, she'll make sure he leaves, but she'll make sure he is guided out. And yeah, she'll make her way. Well, she'll get to other business before going to sleep, unless anything else happens.
No, I think with that, we shall end the scene there. Thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching, and we'll see you all next time.